Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Montague High School, where tonight our Montague Wildcats tangle once again with the visiting Grant Tigers. Not long ago, we played the Grant Tigers over in Grant, and of course, then again in Grand Rapids during the regional tournament action last spring. And of course, the Wildcats came back home defeated in those two games. There are only two losses of the season last year. So tonight, as the Tigers travel to Montague High School, though there are two separate teams out there from last year, two altogether different looks, I'm sure that Grant is looking forward to continuing their dominance over the Wildcats, while the Wildcats, on the other hand, are looking forward to some new kind of results. As far as the Grant Tigers are concerned, their record this year so far is 0-5. 0-5, but according to Coach Dan Beckman, that's really not quite indicative of what they've experienced throughout the season so far. Number one, they've had a real tough schedule thus far, playing teams like Lakeview, White Cloud, and some of the real tough ones over in that part of the state. And they've had some real good quarters put together, but not 4 in a row. And so as a result, we find that the Grant Tigers haven't been successful in the record department as of yet. They're young, inexperienced, and they have 3 sophomores, I believe, starting, along with a foreign exchange student. So they're looking forward to improvement in most departments out of those players. With me tonight in the booth, not Jeff Peterson, who is normally here. Jeff is at a concert at the middle school tonight, but rather Roger Finland, high school principal at Montague High School. Welcome, Roger.
Thank you, Larry. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and a pleasure to have Grant on our floor. We had to meet them at their home court last year, and then on neutral territory in Grand Rapids, so maybe the home court advantage will be to our advantage tonight.
Well, we know that the Wildcats have been a successful team thus far this year, having an overall record of 4-1, 2-1 in the West Michigan Conference. And of course, last time we were on the air, the fans saw a victory over the Oak Ridge Eagles. And that night, we saw an outstanding performance by senior Paul Schlaf. Other outstanding performances as well, but especially Paul stood out that night, having scored 40 points, had several assists, and other good plays. So we're looking forward to some more equally good things from Paul.
Paul put on a real clinic the other night. It was a real pleasure to watch. Paul seemed to have the attitude, especially in the fourth quarter when he scored 18 of his 40 points, that I'm going to take charge of this ball game. Right now we were in a little trouble, and Oak Ridge was leading us, and Paul just seemed to think, well, by gosh, I'm going to show leadership, and he did it.
Absolutely. And of course, the rest of the Wildcats helped out a great deal too. Now we're about ready for the pregame festivities down on court. Now we'll have the national anthem. The national anthem as sung by Elma College freshman Randy Lindquist. Going along with the new tradition at Montague High School, Coach Tate is asking former students and current students to sing the national anthem at pregame ceremonies. Andy Smith having sung it last Friday night, and Randy tonight. Now the starting lineups for the Grant Tigers. First, number 20, Steve Bull. at one guard. At the other guard position, number 50, Mike Jolie. At one forward, number 32, Anto Tomainen from Finland.
That's the foreign exchange student.
You're right. Number 42, Rick Hansen, the only returning senior on the squad from last year. And the other forward position is number 52, Eric Butchart, a sophomore. So we have some inexperience on the floor with the Grant Tigers. J.J. Flynn, number 40. Kevin Buschberger, number 30. Paul Schlaff, number 12. Doug Schlaff, number 14. And Dennis Flynn, number 34, starting for the Wildcats. The Tigers coached by Dan Beckman, and the Wildcats by Mr. Jim Tate.
I see Denny Flynn has earned a starting position for tonight's ball game, Larry, and Denny did just an outstanding job. You mentioned that several people played well the other night against Oak Ridge, and Denny was one of those that had an outstanding ball game.
Probably the best game of his career that I've witnessed was last Friday night, and Coach Tate is responding by giving him that starting assignment. Well deserved. So we're ready for the tip-off at center court. The officials for tonight's game, Peter Gwakowski and Tom Wolfkowski. All set to go. Schlaff and Rick Hansen, Paul Schlaff that is, Rick Hansen. And Schlaff gets the tip, and there's J.J. Flynn bringing it up for the first Wildcat possession. We've got a box and one, Roger, on the defense right away. Doug Schlaff on the missed shot. The ball goes out of bounds off from Doug Schlaff. It'll be controlled by the Tigers.
Well, I'm sure that Coach Beckman scouted us or had somebody here the other night and saw Paul's performance and has responded with that box and one defense.
Steve Bull, point guard. Pass into the center by Mike Jolie. It's picked off by the Wildcats.
Good defensive play by J.J. Flynn.
Continuing the box and one. It's a little new defense. The Wildcats really haven't seen this before, I don't believe. Paul Schlaff, excuse me, that's Doug Schlaff with the pass that went astray. Tomainen brought the ball back up. The shot by the Tigers, no good. Doug Schlaff went for the block but fouled on the attempt. But Roger, the little guard, and Steve Bull, 5'10", one of the shortest men on court, took that shot and went right after his own rebound. Nobody boxed him out at all.
Well, he was wide open under there. Somebody got picked off, screened out somehow or another, and as you say, there was no box out at all.
So Steve Bull shooting 2 for the Tigers. A little short on that first one. Second one, however, goes in. So the Grant Tigers break that scoring ice, leading 1-0 with 7 minutes remaining in the first quarter. J.J. Flynn from the outside is no good. Ball is tipped by Dennis Flynn, but controlled by the Tigers. Steve Bull once again. There's Tomainen. Rick Hansen back to Tomainen. Tomainen with a nice drive down the center. Scores. 3-0. Grant. Paul Schlaff with the drive left. And we're going to have a foul called as Paul drove the left-hand side, Roger.
It's interesting. The other night when Oak Ridge had us in a man-to-man and Paul got around his man, he was able to go to the bucket. But with the box and one, of course, and the other 4 players playing the zone, that wasn't the case there.
Well, there's another bad pass on the part of the Wildcats, and that's 3 turnovers at least already in the first quarter tonight. And Kevin Buschberger let the man get by him that time, Roger. Got a step on the inside and took it to the hoop and drew the foul from Kevin.
Well, Grant goes to the basket with the ball, and that's one of the things you want to do in basketball is take the ball to the hole, and they've done it well so far tonight.
Jim Grieve is into the lineup for the Wildcats. Steve Bull will be on the line, again shooting 2. And Bull was 1 for 2 the last time down, the last time at the line at least. Concentration is what this part of the game is all about, Roger. and it worked for him that time. And again, it's successful, 5-0, Tigers. There's Paul Schlaff, leaving it for Kevin Buschberger. And we've gone nearly 2 minutes without a Wildcat score. That doesn't happen too often. There's Paul Schlaff going to the hoop on the right side, no good. And again, they kept him out from the baseline inside area. Fast break attempt, no good by Mike Jolie, the sophomore. Nice pass to Grieve from Paul Schlaff.
Beautiful assist by Paul on that one.
Paul is leading the team in assists with 24 for the season. And that's his 25th, of course. Nice drive again by Tumainen. You know, it looks like he's probably played that game of basketball over in his homeland of Finland.
Well, it would appear as though he's done more than cross-country ski over there, certainly.
That's for sure.
He goes to the basket very well. That foul was before the shot, called on Paul Schlaff.
His first. Team's third. There's another whistle. I didn't quite see what that one was all about.
5-second call. They were not able to inbound the ball within 5 seconds.
I was looking out court and didn't catch that. Kevin Buschberger off to Doug Schlaff. From the outside, no good. Over everything. Back come the Tigers. Steve Bull. Ball's loose underneath and rolls out of bounds, be controlled by the Wildcats. Steve Bull looks to be their playmaker, Roger. He's had that inside intention almost every time down the court.
He's going to be the one, it appears, that's going to make things go.
Okay, we have another foul being called. The Grant coaches are upset about the play on the court. There was a whistle, and I'm not sure, again, I'm not sure what the call was, Roger, but I think they're going to be calling a foul on Paul Schlaff.
Right.
And I didn't see what he did, but I think the Grant coaches are saying he was pushing. Ball's inbounded, but knocked out of bounds by Kevin Buschberger. That's Paul's second, and I think he's going to be replaced by Eric Webb, number 20.
Eric, a sophomore, of course, and seeing quite a bit of action so far in this young season. There's another 5-second call.
5-second call, this time on the other end. And we should comment once again for the fans, Roger, the 5 seconds used to be a player on the inside of the court had to touch the ball within the 5 seconds. Now the rule has been changed, and the 5 seconds is counted by when the clock starts running. The official hands the ball to the player or puts it down on the court. There's 5 seconds from the release of the ball by the official.
So he has 5 seconds then to release it from his hands.
That's correct. A new rule this year.
Well, actually, that's an advantage to the team taking the ball out of bounds.
That's right. And it's unusual that we see very many of those kind of calls in a whole game, and already we've seen one on each team tonight.
I believe it was 2 on Grant. They had one down under the other bucket too. And like you say, with the old rule, you very seldom saw it called. And tonight with the new rule where they actually have a better advantage, we've got 2 of them.
Well, we've had the timeout and almost ready to resume play here. And still the Grant coaches are a little upset about something happening on the court. Eric Webb to inbounds the ball. Kevin Buschberger moving to the point. Nice assist to Dennis Flynn. Nice position by Dennis that time, and Doug Schlaff saw him open and tossed it inside. That's one thing about that box and one, that it leaves the inside a little open if you can get it in there. Nice outside shot by number 32, Antel Tumainen.
You're doing really well with that Finnish name, Larry. You must be from northern Michigan.
Score is 7-4 Grant with 4:48 remaining in the first quarter. Substitute number 44, Bill McKinley, coming in for the Tigers. Mike Jolly, his first personal for the Tigers. Eric Webb. Nice pass to the inside again. Dennis Flynn moving without the ball, got himself open and got his 4th point of the night, Roger. Continuing right where he left off last week.
Dennis plays really well under there.
Shot missed by the Tigers and controlled on the rebound by Jim Grieve.
Dennis is fun to watch work. He came right back down to this other end and did a fine job of boxing out when Grant put that last shot up.
Well, Doug Schlaff with a 3-point effort from the outside puts Montague in front for the first time tonight, 9-7. Nice defensive play.
Gonna have 3 seconds.
We've got 3
called.
seconds called there. It was a good call by the official.
I believe it was a correct call. Some of the fans in the stands didn't quite agree with it, but he appeared to be in there all of the 3 seconds.
Press defense put on by the Wildcats, and it almost pays off, and it's going to pay off that time as Bushberger comes up with the ball. Again, that press has worked very effectively for the Wildcats most of the season. Doug Schlaff driving to the right, draws the first personal, I believe, on Mike Jolly. Or that's his second personal, I think.
The officials certainly appear to be, they want to establish control of this game in a hurry. They've not let a lot go at all.
Another turnover. Correction on that last call. It was the first personal on Eric Butchart. Carrying the ball is the call against the Tigers. Going back to that last inbounds attempt, though, I think that's the 3rd ball we've lost on an out-of-bounds play.
Both teams have turned it over a little bit already.
Eric Webb looking to Dennis Flynn. Nothing there. He loses control as he tries to dribble toward the center. Steve Bull again bringing the ball down and is fouled. Montague's foul on number 30, Kevin Bushberger's, his second.
Well, we've got, 4.5 minutes gone out of this game, Larry, and already we've got a total of 7 fouls. It could be a long night.
Could be at that rate. Jake Olson into the game for Kevin. Steve Bull once again at the line. I think he's the only one that's been to the Tiger line so far, but he's been doing a good job from it. Well, I jinx a lot of people. I guess I add Steve Bull to my list. Shot by Doug Schlaff, no good. Oh, the Tigers have a break going for them. Nice hustle by Eric Webb, breaks it up, rebound, and basket, however, by number 42, Rick Hansen. Hansen showing some of that senior experience and leftovers from last year against the Wildcats.
Hansen saw an awful lot of action last year for the Tigers.
Grieve no good, but gets his rebound and puts it up and in. 11-9, Montague with 3:05 in the first quarter. Nice deflection by Eric. Eric is certainly has to be one of the speediest guards in this area. He's got just all kinds of quickness out there.
Real good foot quickness.
42, no good. Hansen with the Tumainen with the rebound and attempt, no good. Hansen took that first one and missed. Tom Cedarquist and J.J. Flynn back in for the Wildcats. Eric Webb and Dennis Flynn getting a rest.
Just appears to me, Larry, Grant, of course, beat 0-5, that I would guess after watching them for 5 minutes here that part of their problem is they just don't appear to handle the ball very well against the pressure, even though a few times they've gotten it up the floor, they've fumbled it, and I think that could be a factor before this is over.
Very well could be. That's something coaches don't like to see, those 2 misses from the free throw line. J.J. Flynn looking inside, tries to get it to Jim Grieve, but it's deflected and taken over by the Tigers. Tumainen handles the ball well for a big man, Roger. He's 6'4", but surely has good ball control. Basket for the Tigers by Rick Hansen. Hansen scoring the last 2 buckets for the Tigers, draws them even at 11 apiece, 2:15 remaining. J.J. Flynn in the corner, back on top, Doug Schlaff. Jake Olson with the move to the inside. Swish! Nothing but net on that one. Look good from this
move
vantage.
by Jake, and very confident with that shot. He just went up and took it.
Very much so. Steve Bull left open from the outside. Can't quite hit it, and Jim Grieve has good inside position and got that rebound nicely. 1:40 remaining in the first quarter, 13-11 Montague. Nice inside assist to Jay Flynn as Grieve gets the bucket. 15-11 Montague. Well, Tom Cedarquist trying to come up for the interception or the deflection. Runs into the backside of Steve Bull. Bill McKinley back in for the Tigers. That's Tom's first personal. Steve Bull good on the first attempt. And the second. 15-13, a real close contest all the way through the first quarter. After the Tigers jumped out to an early lead, the Wildcats came back strong and have taken the lead. Doug Schlaff, excuse me, with the drive, no good.
Going to be a turnover on the Wildcats. Doug was standing out of bounds and jumped back into court and touched the ball, so that's a violation.
2-on-1 fast break, and the Tigers had an excellent opportunity, but they couldn't quite handle it again. That's the comment you made.
Noticed.
That's right. 52, Eric Butchart had a little difficulty that time, was called for the travel. Coming up on to 1 minute left in the first quarter. Doug Schlaff looking for a Grieve. Back to Doug. Outside shot, 2-point effort, no good. Tom Cedarquist hustling after that rebound. Ball is tipped out, but a foul is called on the
It's going to be on
Tigers.
Grant.
Bushberger in for the Wildcats and Tamainen for the Tigers. Mike Jolly with his second personal. You don't get to push Tom Cedarquist around too much in there, Roger.
Well, Tom is pretty much an anchor, I'll tell you. He's probably one of the strongest kids in our high school.
Shot no good. Steve Bull once again.
There we go again with that. Just a little
discontinued dribble
to the ball.
Substitutes.
Dennis back in for Tommy Cedarquist.
15-13 with 47 seconds left.
I guess I shouldn't say Tommy.
Quarter.
They're 18 years old. It would be Tom, wouldn't it?
I'm sure he'd think so at least, you bet. Bushberger on the baseline. Oh, no good. Jim Grieve comes out of there with it, misses the shot, gets the rebound, puts it up and in off the glass. Nice hustle by Jim. Nice, excellent move by Dennis Flynn once again. Dennis deflected that ball, hustled right after it, caught control, tossed it inside to Bushberger, who's going to be called for the charge, and I think that's his third. Kevin had the right idea, trying to get that bucket in there on the inside, but unfortunately there was a Tiger planted in his way. 17-13, 27 seconds left. Eric Webb replaces Bushberger. Tigers. Yeah, that's an interesting call, Roger. I think he's saying that that Dennis Flynn came back in from out of bounds there and perhaps hit it off the Grant player, but can't do that.
Well, when I used to ref, I thought if you jumped and were still in, hadn't established a position back in the court, then you couldn't do that. And it may be that someone else has to touch the ball after you come back from out of bounds.
I think so.
Rules have changed over the year, and maybe I wasn't so sharp when I refed anyway and didn't know what the rule was.
Right. I think all those calls you made the wrong way, right? Doug Schlaff with his second personal. Well, this time at least we have a different person at the line for the Tigers. It's Bill McKinley, number 44.
As you mentioned before, this is the first time anyone other than number 20, Bowles, is it?
Bull, Steve Bull, but I think Tamainen was at the line. He missed two.
Oh, that's right.
McKinley, good on the first. It's a one and bonus situation. Second one is also good. So the score is once again a 2-point difference. 17-15 with 10 seconds left in the first quarter. Eric Webb looking to set up the play for the last shot. Looking inside to Grieve, nothing there. Flynn with the outside. Good shot. J.J. Flynn. Off balance, driving to the left, put it up right-handed. How many of those do you see?
Not many, but that one was good.
So the score at the end of the first quarter is Montague 19, Grant 15. And we'll be back after this commercial message. Tonight's game is brought to you by Hunt's Hardware. For all your hardware needs, visit the friendly folks at Hunt's. Pretty strongly after having trailed early, but I don't think we're ever going to see the Cats lay down and play.
Work hard, and that's been a trademark, not just the last 2 years when we've had great deal of success, but you know, ever since I've been here, I've always been impressed with Montague's desire, Montague's hustle, and that goes back to 1983. They've always got 5 kids on the floor that want to play the game.
It'll be Grant ball as we begin the second quarter of action.
Well, I'm sure that Jim Tate probably will not include that first quarter in our highlight film this year. But
I'm sure he won't. Same 5 players for the Wildcats as ended the first quarter. Paul Schloff still on the bench with those fouls. Nice rebound by Jim Grieve off that missed shot by the Tigers. Eric Webb over to J.J. Flynn. Nice drive along the baseline, but just won't go for J.J. this time. Steve Bull. Turnaround jumper is good. Nice off-balance shot that time by Antti Tumainen. 19-17. Nice fake, and I think the foul is going to be called on the Tigers. Eric Webb faked left, drove to the right, and the Tiger player, Eric Burchert, couldn't quite establish position. Those are tough calls to make, Roger.
They drive to the bucket, and you know, you notice in the last number of years there's been a lot more hand checking and so forth than there used to be, and you know, I don't know where you draw the line sometimes.
Both teams in the one in bonus situation, but Eric doesn't convert that first one. Inside drive again by Tumainen.
I think that's about 8 points for him, Larry.
I think so. He's obviously played this game before and plays it well. Big boy, but is quick of foot. Sees that bucket very well. Doug Schloff taking the drive to the inside, draws the personal.
You get a lot of foreign exchange students at the various schools, and it's not often you see them participate. I went down to the state semifinals of the girls tournament a week or so ago and watched Harbor Beach play Ontonagon from the UP. And Harbor Beach had a girl from Australia who'd never played the game before she came to the United States. And she was the second best player on their team. And this young man here tonight appears to be one of the better players on their team.
You're correct. Doug Schloff, the third leading free throw shooter, makes that first one. 76.5% coming into the game is his average on the season. 100% on that trip to the line. Both teams in the 1-to-1. I think that's the first time we've converted. Now Paul Schloff comes back in. There's that pressure defense. Jim Grieve knocks the ball away. Inside from JJ, and intended receiver there was Paul Schloff. Couldn't quite hold. I think he was looking, he knew he was off balance. I think he was looking to get it over to Jake Olson. Down court look. Tigers control the ball that time, but the shot was missed.
Nice hustle by Denny Flynn to get down there.
Well,
off that rebound.
Wildcats return that favor of missing the layup shot. So here we have Rick Hansen with the ball driving right, and it's knocked out of bounds by JJ. We mentioned last year, Roger, in our collage tape of the highlights of the Wildcat season, the defensive pressure that JJ puts on all the time he's on the court, and that was another good example of it.
JJ just works so hard, never gives up, always can be found around the ball.
they were going to call a foul that time. The nice pass to the inside, but I don't think the Tiger player was expecting it. Rick Hansen wasn't looking for the ball. And as a result, he turned around and fouled Dennis Flynn on the other end. Dennis Flynn at the line. Dennis has made 5 of 7 for a 71% average from the line so far this year. There's 5 for 8 now. Nice rebound by Jim Grieve. Jim is looking better tonight than he has in a couple of games, Roger. Nice
Jim
defensive
is playing real well tonight.
And offensive pressure and strategy. Gonna have a Montague foul this time, I believe, on J.J. Flynn, his first personal.
Well, the officials, I think, to the displeasure of both fans, are calling it close, but you can't fault their consistency. It's the same both ways, and they are fouls, perhaps a little questionable from some of them we see during the year, but they are because they say they are. So.
Right. Another rebound by Jim Grieve on that missed attempt. And a bucket by J.J. Flynn makes the score 23-19 Montague with 5:34 remaining in the first half.
Nice to see J.J. hit those outside shots.
Right. Steve Bull with a nice inside drive that time and a one-handed right-hand jumper that falls. 23-21, and the Wildcats can't seem to quite pull away. Nice inside rebound by Paul Schlaff. Ball is knocked out of bounds by Jim Grieve.
Well, we're missing some shots underneath, Larry, that we're going to have to start putting in the hole.
That's for sure. The Wildcats as a team this year coming into tonight are shooting 43% from the field. There's a impressive dunk by Rick Hansen. Jim Grieve on the other end, no good. 23 all, Tigers. But Eric Webb, there's that speed paying off for him again. Brings the ball back up, drops it for Paul Schlaff from the three-point range. I think we're going to have Bill McKinley called for that personal.
Well, a dunk can certainly ignite a team, Larry, and Grant just seems one trip down the floor after that to have a little more spirit. The fans are in it a little bit more, and
well, they don't see many of those during the course of a season, and it always sparks the team, it seems, when they do see one. Paul Schlaff at the line is the leading free throw shooter. 28 of 33, 85% almost.
Paul, of course, had 14 and 18 the other night, and out of his 40 points, and his percentage actually went down.
That's right. He'd only missed one coming into that game, but 84% isn't too bad. Matter of fact, we have a principal in this district who says he shot 84% during his senior year in school, right?
Well, I don't know if Mr. Schrader, the elementary principal's memory is just bad or his math, but I've seen him shoot, and I sort of question that.
In the meantime, the Wildcats score and take the lead 25-23 with 4:23 remaining. Inside pass that time to Rick Hansen, and I think he's fouled on the shoulder by Tom Cedarquist as he reached in trying to deflect the ball.
There just doesn't, for either team, be able to seem to get a flow going tonight. They do a couple things well, and then there will be 2-3 mistakes, and it takes the momentum away from each of the teams.
Rick Hansen at the line, shooting one in bonus. Good on the first this time.
He looks a lot better, Larry, than he did last year. Of course, he was surrounded by such tremendous talent last year, and sometimes you get overshadowed. Of course, he was an underclassman, but he appears to be a bit of a leader out there this year.
Also makes the second. Rick Hansen, the only starting senior from last year's squad. Tamainen is also a senior, but of course, he wasn't here last year. Tom Cedarquist with the assist from Doug Schlaff. That turnaround layup is good. Return on the other end doesn't quite drop. Cedarquist takes the loose ball, passes down to Eric Webb, who misses the layup. Now the Tigers come back down. Play is a little rugged, but the Tigers are going to take advantage of that, make that shot. I believe that was number 50, Mike Jolly, who made the underneath basket. 27 all. Jim Grieve, turnaround good. Nice move.
That's where Grieve, I think, the 2 years I've watched him on the varsity, does his best work. If he can get the ball with his back to the basket and turn around and shoot that jumper.
And it's one of the more difficult shots to make, but we see Rick Hansen making another one down on their end, and Hansen sparking the Tigers right now. 29 all, 3:15 remaining in the first half. Eric Webb, drive right. Basket won't quite drop.
Eric's made a couple good moves the last time he's touched the ball and has nothing to show for it, but as a sophomore, he's going to come.
Good defensive move that time by Eric. And if Eric keeps shooting those, they'll soon drop. Rick Hansen with that turnaround, no good. And there's Doug Schlaff with another rebound. Doug had a tremendous third quarter last Friday night against Oak Ridge. Rebound by Cedarquist, up and in. Nice inside position by Tom that time. Nets him 2 points in addition to that rebound. Steve Bull down the center, no good. Rebound comes off Doug Schlaft and Cedarquist. Now over to Paul. Assist to Paul Schlaft. Basket by Tom Cedarquist. 6 points for Cedarquist.
A real nice assist by Paul.
Rick Hansen from the paint, no good. Rebound, Tom Cedarquist. Tom's looking strong right now, Roger.
Tom's had a good couple of minutes.
Drive by Doug Schlaff.
That
nice
was
move.
I wish we had instant replay. Doug looked to the left and sort of got his defensive man looking the other way and then just took it to the basket. You've got, you can watch basketball a long time. Kids that are seniors or even first-year small college players that don't do that as well as Doug just did.
That's for sure. Well, the Tigers are going to try and regroup. Minute 49 left in the half, and you'd think maybe the coach wouldn't want to take a timeout at this point in time, but the Tigers want to stem the tide right now, I think. 35-29, they're up. Montague's up by 6, and just less than a minute ago, I think we're only up by 2. So
we were tied at 27, and here we are now, 6 ahead.
And if Coach Beckman doesn't get his team together, they might have found themselves down by much more. So it's a good timeout by Coach Beckman.
You don't want to go into the halftime 10 down, and the way we were going, that was possible. So the timeout comes at a time where you want to try to stop that momentum that the Wildcats had. And Tom Cedarquist was really a catalyst in that whole thing.
Surely was. Tom was shooting 78% almost coming into the game tonight, and I think he's made 3 or 4 so far tonight.
Well, Tom is a kind of boy that just really realizes what he can do and what his value is to the team, and stays around that basket and looks for the pass or the rebound and just does a great job with it.
Drive through the baseline area, but no bucket by Mike Jolly. Paul Schlaff on the other end, can't get it to drop, and Dennis Flynn had nice inside position again. Didn't get the rebound quite, but in the attempt to knock it away, Hansen's going to be called for the foul, so Dennis Flynn will find himself on the line.
Well, Paul can't seem to get the lid off the bucket tonight. He's made, a good ball player makes his presence felt in so many ways. The other night he had 40 points, and tonight he hasn't scored yet in the first half. I don't believe he scored, and yet he's had several nice assists and
some rebounds. Nice shot by Dennis Flynn. He was 63% before that one, so that boosted a little bit. The second personal on Hansen, by the way. Second attempt is up and bounces back. Paul Schlaff with the rebound, a little short. Dennis Flynn hustling after it, saves it for the Wildcats, short by JJ. And I think we're going to have a foul on Jim Grieve.
Jim, I believe, had his hands on the ball, but it looked like maybe he came over the back a little bit with his body.
I think you're correct. That's his second personal, and Tom Cedarquist is going to replace him. Jim has played a real good game thus far tonight. Probably the leading rebounder at this point, I would guess, and he's had probably 8 points, I think, too.
He's doing a very nice job.
36-29, minute 20 left, and Hansen at the line. Hansen's been there at least 3 times tonight. Can't convert on that one. Nice rebound by Dennis. Dennis Flynn, now J.J. Flynn. No relative or no relation there, I don't believe, Roger. But
no, they're not.
Paul Schlaff down the center. There's the lid off.
Initial 2 points of the night.
38-29, minute left. Jason McKinley. Oh, the pass is thrown away by Mike Jolly. You know, part of the reason the Tigers are having a little trouble probably is that they've got a lot of sophomores out there, Roger.
Correct.
Not much experience at the varsity level, and it's always a little tougher to get used to things at the varsity level.
Well, 3 sophomores, and Coach Beckman has to drool a little bit because his JV team tonight defeated the Montague JV team 80-77, and we're not a bad JV team. We've had a little bad luck lately in losing 3. Of course, like Coach Schlaff says, luck has nothing to do with it. It's the way you play on any given night. And we haven't played particularly well, but we do have a good team, and Grant did beat us despite the fact they have 3 sophomores up. Of course, we have 2 of our own on our varsity team.
Well, we have the 4-corner offense at this point, looking for that last shot with 8 seconds. Won't drop, but Paul gets the rebound. He's called for stepping on the line out of bounds.
I would have loved to have that one go in because Doug made a nice pass, and Dennis made a nice strong move, and everything was perfect except the ball didn't go in the basket.
3 seconds left when the ball was thrown in, and that marks the end of the first half with the score. Montague 30. So Roger, we were down by 5, I think, early in the first quarter. I think they had 5 before we got on the board, but since then we've come back pretty well. I think we had 19-15 lead at the end of the first quarter, so we scored exactly the same number of points in each quarter.
Well, we're, as you say, up by 9. And, you know, not to take anything away from Grant. They're a young ball club. They're coming off of 2 outstanding seasons. But watching the game, I just get the feeling that we've got a little more experience. And you just sort of wait for us to, I don't think we're going to blow them out, really. But I think we're going to steadily creep away the way things look to me at this point, unless something really goes wrong. But again, not to take anything away from Grant. I think it's just that talent-wise right now we are able to put a little more on the floor than they are.
Well, Roger, we've got a chance here. We should just mention the upcoming schedule here. Of course, fans, this is the last week of school. School will actually be dismissed at noon tomorrow, Thursday, the 22nd. And we wish all of you the best of everything during the holiday season. But we also remind you that the Wildcats return to action Friday night after the return to school, January 6th, when they will host the North Muskegon Norse here in Montague. And Roger, we've got some other basketball action during the Christmas break as well. You started a tradition when you were first here of freshman basketball during the Christmas break. Is that correct?
Well, I'd like to take credit for that, but actually Ray Schlaff, when he first took over the freshman program, felt that would be a good way to give the kids some valuable experience, and he's actually the one that started that tournament. And this year we have Whitehall, Oak Ridge, Hart, and
Shelby
invited to the tournament. I think it's just a real neat thing. Ray, of course, after working with Ray for 5-6 years, you just get to appreciate the little things and the little ideas that he has. And I remember the first year we had the tournament and somebody won, and of course every time you win you expect a trophy. Well, Ray said dictionaries last a lot longer than trophies do, so he gave each of the players in the final game a dictionary, and now it's expanded to where everybody that participates in the tournament gets a dictionary, and I think that's a nice touch.
It certainly is a very novel idea, And it is, a very useful thing. A trophy is nice, it's shiny, and it's something you're proud of, but it usually sits on the shelf, and if it doesn't collect dust, at least it's not real useful after the fact. But these dictionaries can be used by the players the next day in school or 20 years from now if they take good care of them. So was a good idea.
Well, and it's sort of in keeping this year, for the first time, the proceeds for the from the freshman tournament will be going to the academic awards program that is in its 4th year of existence here at Montague High School. And it's sort of ties in the dictionaries as prizes for the people that participate, and it's an academic kind of tournament. So again, a nice idea, I think.
Let's just review quickly that tournament schedule for the fans. Tuesday, December 27th at 6:30 p.m., Oak Ridge will play Whitehall. That game will be followed at 8 o'clock or thereabouts with Shelby playing our Wildcats. Then on Wednesday evening, again at 6:30, the Oak Ridge Whitehall loser will play the Shelby Montague loser, and the championship game in the Montague High School freshman basketball tournament will take place at 8 p.m. when the Oak Ridge Whitehall winner plays the Shelby Montague winner. Admission is $1.50 for adults and $1 for students. So we urge fans not to tire of basketball action during the Christmas holidays. Take a break from all the hustle and bustle and sitting in front of the TV at home watching those football games, and come out to the high school for some good freshman basketball. We'll be right back after this commercial message.